guarding man-to-man, but there were times I had to get him man-to-man. And
favorite team that you guys love to face in your division?
Yours.
Yes, sir.
It's like the games like you play against the Raiders, you might get 3 sacks. When they had Jamarcus Russell, which I did. So I got 3 sacks on them. I got 3 sacks on them in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And I'm ready, and they take Tommy Maddox.
What is going on, everybody? Good morning. Happy Sunday. It is week 10. It is the West War Room Rivals Sunday pregame show. I am your host, Cody. We're going to get a quick roll call in before we dive into this morning's festivities. Shovix, kick us off.
Yep. I'm Austin, representing the third place Chiefs.
I'm Cory, 8-2, Broncos Country.
Caleb?
Caleb, representing Bolt Fan.
And I'm Matt, also representing the 8-2 Broncos Country.
And I'm Cody, representing the fourth place Las Vegas Raiders, who lost to the first place Denver Broncos on Thursday Night Football. Although I don't know if the loss was worse or the victory that the Broncos had was that much better, because it was, how shall someone say, shit show. I think that's a fair and accurate phrase of it. Matt, you had a nice little video to just describe it that we posted on socials. So before we finish, do you have any additional thoughts post game?
I mean, I don't even know what to make of this. This offense is just kind of like, it leaves my head scratching pretty much every week. Particularly, I mean, I'm sure we're going to dive into it here in a little bit, but that 3rd and 1 call, the double pass, Cortland Sutton, and it just like what are you doing, man? What are we doing? So I'll save my fury for later on.
All right. I do want to point out, you made this mention in your post-game video that you were wondering if Sean Payton was the problem. I do want to say at the start of the season, I did ask that question as well. I'm not saying that you guys aren't a good team, but the play calling, it seemed like you guys should have trounced my Raiders. And if it wasn't for a Daniel Carlson missed field goal, we would have gone into overtime, it looked like. So let's go ahead and just dive into it. Cory, what were your thoughts on Thursday Night Football?
I mean, we're 8-2. We won. There's not much else to really dive into. There's no panic. Don't panic. We're still 8-2. So we're doing what we're supposed to do. We're keeping the, I'd like to talk about the cushion, right? You have a little more margin of error. You win 8-2, move on. That's as simple as that.
Okay. You did mention too, because you had a little post-game clip that we put on our social medias where is a little bit of a walk of shame. So do you feel like that's still an accurate depiction of how the game went? Yeah,
no, it still is. Like you watch, and yes, at the end of the day you win, but you feel kind of dirty, right? It's like one of those college nights where you're kind of like, oh gosh, I mean, you win, you're happy with the moment. And then the next morning you kind of look back and you're kind of taking that walk of shame to work, and you're thinking that you're going to be excited to talk with your friends about the game, and it's kind of more like the walk of shame of like, oh yeah, that was us. Like, we moved on. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, it doesn't. I mean, it's almost Chiefs week. Like, that's all I'm like circled right now. I'm so stoked for next week. Like, this is what we've been building up to right now.
Right. Austin, do you have any quick initial thoughts from the game on Thursday?
Yeah, as a fan of neither team, I just would have rather done anything else with my Thursday night. I never want the Raiders to win them, but the more that game went on, I'm like, if I have to suffer through this, the Raiders might as well just pull this out. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't want them to win, but if I'm here doing this and this game's going like that, you might as well just do it for us. Like, not cheering for it, but, finding myself like, because let's be honest, that just typical Thursday night, not good game.
Yeah.
Really no takeaways other than hope I never have to watch something like that again.
It gets better. It's the Jets this week.
All right, Caleb, what were your thoughts on Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Austin. In a way, I wasn't really pulling for the Raiders, but at the same time, I was. it was kind of a snooze fest. Did you all ever watch, what was it called? Football Follies or whatever it's called back?
Yeah.
It reminded me of that a lot. That game did. I mean, the block punt, the interception Geno threw, it kind of reminded me of that, but that was the only comic relief that I had in that whole game. But yeah, my initial thought, I mean, the Broncos won ultimately. That's all that really matters. I was pulling for the Raiders a little bit, like Austin said in the middle, but I will probably never say that again. But yeah, that's really my thoughts on that.
We have a recording of this now. Like
it's literally on camera right now. Also,
the only time ever.
No, I think you're going to eat your words. We have got to play the Chiefs and the Broncos second go around, and you're fighting for making sure that they lose a little bit. You'll be a Raider fan nonetheless. So,
I do want to say though, the one takeaway from actual gameplay is the Broncos really need to think about putting Tillman at tight end.
Yes, sir.
That dude,
that's pretty good.
More interceptions than your D-backs, and those returns he's having. Like,
I tweeted
that man was making some he had a high missed tackle rate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like his juke rate, I know he's doing well on the D line, but like those returns were probably the most exciting part of that game.
It can't be any worse than what the tight ends we have right now, which Cory and I were saying, like this tight end group is so frustrating.
Caleb, do you remember when all the hype about Evan Ingram being signed to the Broncos and like, oh yeah, this is the piece that we needed? I remember hearing that in the offseason.
Yep.
That's fine.
I do. Because I was wanting him a little bit, and then when the Broncos got him, I was like, dag on it, man. And then they were like, oh, he's going to be super good. I think he's just been so injured.
He hasn't really – I mean, he's had flashes here and there, but I think since what is his big his breakout was, I think, in Jacksonville. And then obviously, injuries kind of derailed his last season with Jacksonville. So, he's a good player when he's involved.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't get anyone else involved that doesn't run a screenplay with him. So,
yeah.
All right, guys. So let's actually, that kind of dives us into our AFC West, just a little hot take question that we were having. And Matt, I kind of want you to kick us off because obviously the Broncos are right now 8-2, number one in the AFC West division. So they hold the lead. Even regardless of Thursday night's performance, do you think the Broncos are serious Super Bowl contenders right now?
As much as I want them to be, I have to be honest with this. Now, Broncos Country, don't get it twisted. One, I am extremely happy we are leading the division. I'm happy we're 8-2. If I get fair weather fan one more time, I will lay the smack down, all right? Stone Cold Steve Austin will have nothing on this. Anyway, I digress. Continuing on. Everyone wants to compare this team to the 2015 Super Bowl team. That's not it. We don't have that team. This is not that team. It's time to move forward. I like to believe that too when Denver had that huge comeback against the Bears a couple seasons ago with Sean Payton's first year as head coach. They had that 24-point comeback and they won. Looking back at it in Peyton Manning's first year, that started the 12-game win streak. They made the playoff appearance. And I was like, cool, maybe history will repeat itself. That didn't happen. It's not going to happen. And the reason I say it is just because this offense is so inconsistent. And, eventually, the defense wins championships. That's great. The defense is keeping us in the game. They're giving us the opportunities to win. But the more they're on the field and the tougher these opponents are going to get, because, again, I kind of had mentioned the Broncos' remaining opponents have a combined record of 23, 24, and 1. 4 of their remaining opponents all have winning records, all competing for a playoff spot. I've been saying that the last couple of weeks. This is the time that everyone's going to start trying to separate themselves and make that playoff push. They're going to be more competitive, which means their offenses are going to be tougher to deal with. Their defenses are going to play lights out because, again, they want to put themselves in a position to win. You can't win a game just one side of the ball. You have to be consistent on both sides. The play calling, atrocious. It drives me nuts. The Bo Nix's mechanics, inconsistent, sloppy footwork, all over the place, bad decisions. And this is like, he's not a rookie anymore. This is his 28th career game. If you want to count that, the playoff game against Buffalo, 28th career game. And it's the same mistakes every time. I'm crashing out. Now I know what Cody feels like, but It's the same mistakes week in, week out. It's the same plays week in and week out. The defense is doing everything they can, but if this keeps up, this offense is going to set our defense up for failure. They're going to get tired. We will not see a Super Bowl. So, no, I'm saying no. They're not contenders yet.
Corey?
The defense absolutely sounds like a true fair weather fan if I do say so myself. But the defense is absolutely 100% Super Bowl contenders. The offense, if you go back to 2015, that offense wasn't very good either. But that offense wasn't this bad. The offense this year is still not there. I will tell everyone to kind of pump the brakes on is Bo Nix really the guy. Look at his first 29 career starts. Look at Josh Allen and John Elway's first 29 career starts. Bo Nix is better than both of them statistically. So I don't want to hear another person say Denver needs to look at a quarterback next year. You can go hop on the Raiders bandwagon if that's what you want to talk about.
Yep.
But no, this team's not a Super Bowl contender yet. I do think that the offense can figure this out. They still have time to right the wrongs. So this last half of the season is going to be brutal.
You know, if you guys are looking for a quarterback, we have AOC. He's fully healthy. We'll just swap Bo Nix for AOC straight up. We won't even.
No.
You know what? We'll throw in a draft pick as a kicker. How about that?
Yeah, you give us 2 1s.
You know what? Maybe.
For Sertan.
And
Podcast
Sertan.
equipment should be more expensive.
Oh, God.
The inflation rate on it is outrageous. Austin, do you think the Broncos are Super Bowl contenders?
Yes. I think they can easily get to the Super Bowl because you know how I feel about defenses. And I also think the AFC is a little weaker this year. You know, the Bills offense hasn't exactly found the groove consistently. Chiefs offense, right when you think they're back, they're not quite. They've been inconsistent. The Ravens, we're still trying to see if they're going to end up in the playoffs or not. So I think the defense can easily carry them to a Super Bowl. And then with that defense, anything is possible in a one-game winner-take-all situation. Would it be nice for the offense to come around and make you feel more comfortable? It would. But I do think 100% this defense can carry them to a Super Bowl, especially if Sertan comes back healthy and they don't rush him back and, you know, makes things worse or whatnot. But their defense, their special teams, although they didn't show it Thursday, punting the ball, that is anyway. But typically their punt game's pretty well. They can flip the field. Their defense, it can carry them. Yeah, will some of these offenses maybe hit their stride and make us rethink this? Sure. But I think right now you're looking, you know, Colts, Steelers, some of these playoff teams. I'm not really worried about their offense doing a whole lot against Denver. So I don't think the offense has to be too powerful for Denver. So no, I wouldn't put my money on them. But yes, I do think that this defense still makes them a Super Bowl contender.
Well, we still got to wait and see. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's gashed this defense. So I wouldn't say this defense is it is expendable in certain aspects of it. Jonathan Taylor showed that earlier this season.
Yeah. Caleb, what are your thoughts? Do you think the Broncos are Super Bowl contenders?
Yeah, and kind of to tag off of Corey, I think their defense is. I don't think their offense is quite there yet. And really, I think the reason I say no overall would be because the offense does keep the defense on the field a lot of the game. I mean, that's what happened against the Chargers. Whenever they put quite a few drives together, the Chargers, that is, put quite a few drives together, that's when they started to score. Whenever the Chargers had a drought, that's when the Broncos offense started clicking. So really, I think the play calling is a huge factor in that. And honestly, I think they need to give the ball to J.K. Dobbins a little more. I know he got banged up last week or on Thursday, but yeah, I love J.K. Dobbins when he was with us, and I think he's great with you all too. So I think they need to feed him a lot more. And even if that means, this is going to sound weird, but get a little option game going with Bo Nix. Let him run a little bit. Like, loosen up. You got to loosen him up a little bit. Try something new, I guess.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is a tough one because, listen, are they talented enough to make the Super Bowl? Yeah, that defense by itself. I mean, you've got 3 pass rushers that would improve any team's defense around the NFL, and you got 3 of them on your front line. And, and that does create a lot of havoc for offenses. And I think now, as, Riley Moss is coming into his own, now that Surtain is out injured, I feel like the Broncos secondary that's able to capitalize on their opportunities to create turnovers such as interceptions. I mean, they got one on the Raiders on a tip pass. And, Cory and Matt, you guys like to say the only Broncos players with worse hands are the DBs. Like if it wasn't for them not catching anything, they probably have more takeaways. And I think as that pressure gets home to other teams, they start creating those takeaways. I think what I get concerned with is this defense is not going to be able to go back on the field when the offense keeps sputtering against teams deep in playoffs like the Bills when they are in playoff mode. I feel like the Bills are, a good regular season team, and they may, put up a good fight or throw a stinker where they lose to the Falcons. But in the playoffs, I think you really get a different version of the Bills. And I feel like if the Broncos put only one quarter together of great football, defense and offense, it's not going to be enough against the Bills because the Bills will not let up in that factor. Or let's just assume it's a wild card game where it's the, Chiefs, or maybe it's a divisional game with the Chiefs and the Broncos. The Broncos are not going to let you off, or excuse me, the Chiefs are not going to let you off the hook if you play 3 quarters of bad football offensively, where your defense has to go back out there now and stop some of these elite offenses from scoring. I do think, though, that and we talked about this last week after this Raiders game, is there's some favorable matchups that come down the line. Now, granted, the Chiefs one is coming up. That'll be a very big test. But you got the Commanders, you got the Raiders again, Packers, Jaguars. Like, this stretch is a lot of these teams here, I feel like, play into the Broncos' hands in terms of your defense can suffocate them and create turnovers. The thing is can Bo Nix, can Sean Payton play better, call a better game, and also can Bo Nix show a little bit more maturity when it comes to decision-making, his mechanics and all that? Also, Sean Payton, can we run the ball a little bit more? I feel like there's a layer of the offense that is not being utilized, and I feel like almost out of spite, Sean Payton does not want to utilize the run game because maybe it's too obvious, or he doesn't, for whatever reason, he wants to outsmart everybody, which he's a great offensive mind. But at the same time, sometimes you just got to play balanced football. And, calling a screenplay on 2nd and, 8 sometimes is like, okay, well, can we just hand the ball off and gain more yards that way when you got Dobbins that's averaging 4+ yards a carry? So anyways, I think y'all are Super Bowl contenders, but when you guys get up to a real playoff team, I think that's where it's like, okay, can you guys keep up with this team that's been in the playoffs and has an experience? Now, granted, you guys losing to the Bills last year might have helped that experience, but you can't play 3 bad quarters of football and then expect to win in the 4th quarter if the game's out of hand. So I think that's the only thing I'm concerned with if I'm looking at it on the Broncos side of it.
It's very comparable to last year's Chiefs. Chiefs offense last year was bad, but their defense did carry. No, their offense was bad. They had no tackles. They only were scoring like 20 points a game. Like, but their defense was holding. Their defense got them to a Super Bowl, but we didn't know what happens when we got there. Like, their defense could no longer do enough with the offense sputtering out to where the Eagles just suffocated. Yeah. So that's what I think. This defense can do the same thing, and then anything can happen in the Super Bowl.
Right, Matt?
Yeah. And I will say this. Is this Broncos team a good team? Yes, absolutely. If you're looking at it on paper, statistically speaking, they've beaten 2 number ones. They beat the number 1 offense for Dallas, and they beat the number 1 defense in Houston, on the road in Houston, and that's where they've really been struggling. So is this a good team? Yes, but, like Austin's point, they're not allowing a whole lot of points. They get to the Super Bowl, and they just got dog-walked, and that's my fear. And even with the Bills game, they're still exposed. They exposed the interior line. And with James Cook and Josh Allen, they had big plays downfield, but most of their yards came on the ground through the interior line. Jonathan Taylor did the same thing. So that's my concern there.
Cory, do you have any final thoughts before we move on to the next topic?
No, I think we are all set.
All right. Speaking of all set, you guys, this morning, week 10, we have a pretty interesting AFC matchup here. We have Caleb's Chargers playing the Pittsburgh Steelers here. A lot of implications for both teams. Steelers are trying to keep their playoff hopes alive as they're trying to keep their lead in the AFC North. Chargers are trying to keep up with the Broncos and also stage off the Chiefs, who are sitting at third place in the AFC West. So, Caleb, I want to know from you, what are the keys to victory for the Chargers, and who do you have as an X factor for this game?
Yeah, so my keys to victory are actually basically the same as last week. We got to keep Justin Herbert clean. We have to. We got Trevor Penning this week. He's not going to start, but I could see them using him at some point in the game. Mekhi Becton's back. We've got to protect Herbert. If we can do that, I think we can win this game pretty easily. I think our defense can handle Pittsburgh's offense. But we have to protect him, and we have to get the run game going. Last week, we didn't really get the run game going. We had to throw more than expected. That's why we turned it over pretty early in the game. We didn't get the run established, and we're down points. We cannot do that this week against the Steelers.
Yeah.
My X factors, though, for the Steelers, it's TJ Watt. Man, I think he's the X factor for them. And our O-line as a whole is my X factor. I know I'm talking about them a lot, but man, the amount of times Herbert's been hit, we can't let that happen. We cannot continue to let that happen. We're not going to win games that way. Defensively, we're getting some guys back. We're actually more healthy on the D-line than we have been since like week 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty excited for that. We're getting Deshaun Hand back off of IR. That'll be huge for us. He's our second best defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he might be our defensive X factor this week. But
okay.
yeah, the Steelers have some guys out, and Highsmith's playing. So we'll see how it is. But ultimately, we got to get it done. Quit making excuses. We got to get it done.
Yeah. Well, when we talked on our preview show, I had asked you, like, how concerned are you about the Steelers front, even though, like, the Steelers kind of beat up. I'm forgetting the team that they played on Sunday. The Colts, excuse me. They played the Colts, who was red hot. Their front, for some reason, was able to get to Danny Dimes. And, with, Joel Alt being out for the season, like we talked about this, how concerning it is to make sure that Justin Herbert walks out of that game healthy, or at least able to continue in the season, because, and I think you brought this up last year, the Steelers injured him. And again, because of offensive line being injured. So,
yep.
Austin, what are your thoughts on this game with the Chargers and Steelers? Since your Chiefs are sitting at third place, are you really needing, looks like the Chargers to kind of have a loss here to keep up with them. So what are your X factors and your keys to victory?
Yeah, I think there is a path to the Chargers winning this pretty easily. And I think that they have to establish the run game. That's when the Steelers were able to tee off on the Colts. They tried to establish JT, and they actually bottled them up a few times, and then they went pass heavy.
Yep.
And that's right into the Steelers' strength. I mean, that's when they started doing creating the turnovers and really controlling that game. Mm-hmm. So the Chargers really got to somehow, some way get a little bit of a run game going, or at least stick with it. Don't give up on it too early. I think the Colts did that. They gave up on it a little too early, even though that game wasn't necessarily out of hand. So if I don't care who the Chargers hand the ball off to, I don't care if they use Herbert's legs.
Yep.
They got to do something to not let the pass rush for Pittsburgh tee off. Because no matter how we feel about the rest of that defense, they do have an elite pass rush. Like outside of Highsmith and Watt, they still have Hayward. They still have, is it Benton or whatever in the middle too? Like they got some dudes on their line who can cause havoc if they know it's 99% pass.
Yeah.
Because for me, Chargers have to establish the run. Defensively, the Steelers have a lot of big names, but they're still not like a scary offense.
Yep.
They just, I don't know if they haven't hit their stride, or some people are past their prime. But really, if they can just kind of make Aaron Rodgers cranky a little early in that game, because we've seen him have some meltdowns, and that's not a sideline or an offense full of veterans who can handle a meltdown like that from your quarterback. Like DK will just stop. Like, you're going to yell at me? Okay. and that kind of takes care of the receiving core. So if you can kind of get after Rodgers and just make him have a meltdown early in that game, you're probably going to eliminate any kind of like serious threat from that offense. If they get going, you're really going to have to limit the tight ends. That's really what goes for Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Washington's huge. I'd like to think in the red zone, Derwin can handle that, but like Washington's still like 7 foot, 300 pounds. So
Yeah.
if you can keep him out of the red zone, get Rodgers a little baffled early, I do think that's a path to an easy victory for the Chargers.
Yeah, I can see Healy having a pretty big game on that Steelers offensive line because, I mean, it's okay. It's not elite, but Rodgers, I don't know. I think he averages like 100 or 210 yards passing. He doesn't throw the ball nearly as much as he did when he was in Green Bay or even in New York for that matter. So I feel like if, the Chargers can kind of take away the big plays, which they don't, give up. I feel like this is a game where, maybe this is the game the Chargers kind of put their thumb on it and show that this is a turnaround, especially losing Joe Alt and acquiring, the offensive guard in the trade deadline. So, all right, moving on to the next segment. Matt, we've got your MILF report, sir. Go ahead and give us your favorite NFL matchup for Week 10.
Yeah, so the one I'm actually looking forward to is I believe Puka Nacua is supposed to be back tomorrow, or excuse me, today. And, first game back from injury, facing a pretty, solid Niners secondary.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very interested to see how this is, because it's a divisional matchup. His first game back today. I'm interested to see how this is going to go because before he got injured, and he was the leading receiver, I don't think there was a game that he had where he didn't have at least over 100 receiving yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, is he going to pick up where he left off, or is he going to, struggle a little bit? Because again, he's been out for 3-4 weeks now.
Right.
So is he going to struggle a little bit? How is this going to work out for them? So for me, my matchup is going to be Puka Nacua versus this Niners secondary.
I like it. I think I'm going to take a look at A.J. Brown in the Green Bay Packers secondary. And maybe this should really be A.J. Brown versus Jalen Hurts because sometimes Jalen Hurts throws the ball. Sometimes he doesn't. So we'll see if A.J. Brown crashes out. But I think the matchup I'm curious to see is the Monday Night Football matchup with A.J. Brown going up against the Packers secondary, and if that can take it over the top or if it's just going to be push all night long. Caleb, is there a matchup in the NFL that you're looking at?
Really, I kind of agree with Matt. I'm really excited to see how Puka does, and part of that is because he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah,
I know he's dealing with. Last week he played for like 2 quarters or whatever, hurt his chest. So I'm curious to see how he does this week, getting more touches and being hopefully 100% or at least 85. I think he'll kind of have his way with the 49ers.
Yeah, a banged up 49ers team. Cory, is there a matchup you're looking forward to?
Yeah, dude, I want to see Baker Mayfield against the New England defense. I think this is the game of the week. I think it's going to be as slobber knock and ugly as everyone thinks it's going to be. We talked on the preview show about, Todd Bowles' defense against Mike Vrabel and his defense, and just 2 old school coaches that just absolutely want to punch you in the mouth. And I think that's exactly what we're about to see. And, when Baker gets in that zone, as he blacks out, as he says, he becomes a pretty, competitive asshole, essentially. And I'm all for this. And I'm so pumped for this game. And I'm ready to see what Bake does against this defense.
Austin?
Yeah, no, I agree with Cory. I am excited for that matchup. I definitely think that's game of the week. I'm actually looking forward to the early kickoff here with the Colts and the Falcons. I want to see, the Falcons minus the Dolphins game have been a tough defense. So I want to see how the Colts match up against that after what happened last week. Was last week the beginning of the downfall and the real Indiana Jones shows up and he turns into Danny Dimes again?
Mm-hmm.
This is a big bounce back for them. They kind of control their own destiny.
We got a corgi in the background.
Yeah, just looking at all the Chiefs Super Bowl memorabilia. Anyway, yeah, I'm just curious to see if the Colts can bounce back. Say what you want about the Falcons offense, but their defense has been pretty good. That pass rush has been pretty good. Because I think what's going to happen is the Colts are going to, or Daniel Jones is going to return to form, what most people probably thought into this year. And you put back-to-back games together like they had last week, and they do it again today, there's going to be a lot of doubt creeping in, not only to his mind, but the team's mind, the coach's mind. Like, oh gosh, is our momentum over? Is this who he really is now? So just a big bounce back from them is what I'm curious with that matchup.
If I had my fire this week, he was dead square in it.
Yeah. I was going to say, how do you think Sauce Gardner is going to do against the Falcons? I will also point out that this is an international game in Berlin. So as we're live right now, they're probably underway. So obviously scores and highlights will be to follow. But do we think Sauce Gardner is going to make an impact on this game, or do you even think he made the flight?
He did. He's supposed to play.
Okay.
I think he gets roasted, but go ahead.
Yeah. For all those that roasted Matt and Cory about it being him being overrated, which I don't think that's what they were saying. Just not 2-1s for Sauce is a little rich for our blood, I guess we can say.
It's not even against him.
I lost 0 sleep, so
Matt overrated out there quite a few times. I mean, okay, cool, but I think people took it out of context of what Matt was actually trying to say, which is why I opened up the show the other day of telling everyone, just chill out. Like, it's 2-1. It's like, it's just whatever. But no need to go down that hole.
Yeah, that'll be a long one. But
I've already crashed out today. I don't need to do it again.
Yeah, I'm trying to egg you on to do another one so that way, because I'm tired of being the only one that crashes out around here. So, all right, guys, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsor, so we'll be back in a bit. But when we come back, we'll be doing League Recon. West War Room Rivals is sponsored by Emporia State Federal Credit Union. Learn more at esfcu.com. Text or call the number 620-342-2336 to get started today. ESFCU is the Shovix banking of choice, federally insured by the NCUA. This episode of West War Room Rivals is brought to you by JBW Solutions Industrial Safety Services, your remote safety partner no matter where work takes you. From the job site to the office, JBW Solutions brings OSHA 10 and 30 training, plus a full lineup of compliance services straight to your screen. Whether you're a small crew or a major operation, they make safety simple, accessible, and effective. Visit JBW Solutions LLC.com to learn more today and stay compliant wherever you are. West War Room Rivals is sponsored by Field Ops. Kansas sports fields just got an upgrade with Field Ops. Looking to reserve top quality sports fields in Kansas? Whether you're organizing youth tournaments, adult leagues, or weekend pickup games, Field Ops is your go-to platform for discovering and booking the best athletic fields across the state. Instant online reservations, detailed field info such as locations, amenities, and photos. Field Ops is also trusted by coaches, organizers, and athletes. From Wichita to Overland Park, Field Ops has got you covered with real-time availability and streamlined scheduling. Get in the game at gofieldops.com/Kansas-KS. That's gofieldops.com/Kansas-KS. Welcome back to West War Room Rivals. We are about to dive into League Recon. Thank you guys so much to our sponsors, JBW Solutions, Emporia State Federal Credit Union, and Field Ops. For more details, visit the link down below in the description. So, all right, guys, let's move on over to the League Recon. Of course, we got a huge matchup today. We have, of course, the New England Patriots playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but there's 2 quarterbacks on each team that have garnered MVP talks, that we can say. And I think depending on who you ask is who you trust the most. So that kind of leads us to, who do you trust more, Drake May or Baker Mayfield? So, Matt, I'll let you take over that question. Who do you trust more, Drake May or Baker Mayfield?
I'm going with Baker Mayfield. I just like his leadership. I like that team plays well around him. I believe Bucky Irving is back. He's not yet, but okay, never mind. But if he's got a good run game behind him and everything seems to be clicking for him, I love his leadership. I like that he never puts his head down, no matter how tough it gets. He never puts his head down. Mm-hmm. He's got a solid defense on the opposite side of the field of him that'll help put him in games and opportunities to win. So for me, I'm going to take Baker Mayfield on this one.
Caleb?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Baker too. I really love both of these quarterbacks. I know that was my Caleb's Counter-Strike week one, or my first week here was the Patriots. But, man, I love Drake May. But I think Baker, he's just shown a little more in the past, and he's having a dang near MVP season as well. So I have to go with Baker.
Sorry, Mom.
Austin, are you taking your guy Drake May, or are you taking your other guy Baker Mayfield?
Since the question is who do I trust more, it's Baker Mayfield. I like Drake May way more. I'm a Drake May guy, but if we're talking about who do I trust more, it's Baker Mayfield. The dude's a gamer. In the current National Football League of active quarterbacks, I mean, crunch time, I might be taking Stafford, Mahomes, and then Baker. If we're just talking about from a leadership crunch time perspective. And for that reason, I got to take Baker. I love Drake May, but the question is trust, not like more. So I trust Baker.
All right, Corey, who do you trust?
Yeah, God, what a good question. Who came up with this? Man.
I don't know, some guy.
For now, it's Baker. Drake May's not far behind. And I think New England Patriot fans obviously know Drake May, and they have every right to disagree with this right now. But just give it some time. The whole NFL is getting ready to know who this guy is and what he's about. But when you watch Baker, and I said it earlier, he's competitive. He's a competitive asshole, essentially. And you need that in your quarterback. And I think guys kind of, gravitate towards his leadership and what he's doing, knowing, hey, we'd go to battle for this guy. And he would do the same. Watch the dude play football. He's out there trying to hit people. When he's trying to run the football, he turns into Herschel Walker. He's trying to run people over. I love it. He's looking around, he gets up and he gets in the dude's face, do something. Yeah, it's kind of a tool move sometimes, but at the same time, it's no, I want that in my quarterback. Please, for the love of God, put Bo Nix and do the same thing. Get mad, get angry, get upset. He doesn't let it bother him at all. There's not one time that he's made a mistake and he comes back and it's repetitive. No, if he makes a mistake, he corrects it and he comes back. It's Baker Mayfield right now.
Yeah, and just to say, Drake May's the same way. Baker's just been at it longer. It's more fine-tuned.
Right.
Yep.
I think the best way that I can answer this is, and I want to be very clear, I think Drake May and Baker Mayfield have both etched themselves in deep MVP conversations. I think legitimately they each have a respectable case of one or the other. And I think I'm going to just also kind of piggyback off of what Austin just said. Baker's been doing it longer. He's earned our trust, essentially. And we can look at when he was in Cleveland, what he dealt with, and he still found ways to win. Granted, that organization hasn't recovered since losing Mayfield. Carolina, that's its own thing because they also broke Sam Darnold, and both quarterbacks are thriving right now away from Carolina. And Bryce Young is not the number one pick that we all assumed he would be. And again, under Carolina's ownership and stewardship. But Baker Mayfield, since he's been on the Rams, and then also now since his time in Tampa, he gives me this is, and I don't want to say this as a very cliche kind of a thing. And Matt and Corey, I hope you guys appreciate this. He's giving me Tim Tebow vibes, but he plays the quarterback better. Obviously he's a better thrower. And the reason why is because when he's there, he gives everyone a fighting chance. With his receivers not healthy, they're still winning games that they should not have won. Come from behind wins. Last year, he got them into the wild card. Now, granted, they didn't go as far, but definitely you can't say that Baker is not the reason why that they're losing these games. He's definitely the one that's elevating the play. And I just feel like a lot of these guys want to play for him, and they kind of pick themselves up. And even with having a fourth string receivers, like Tez Johnson and the rookie Mbuka that they drafted this past first round, they're being very productive, even though he's usually throwing to guys like Godwin or Evans or, fill in the blank. So I feel like Mayfield has earned the trust because we've seen him come from behind victories and rally the guys around him, even if when it doesn't seem like there is anything. The one game I think that's a negative against him is I think it's the Lions game where obviously he was turning the ball over. He wasn't doing much, but he'd also just lost Mike Evans in that game. I don't even think he had Mbuka in that game either. So he literally was doing it by himself, and you can only do so much. And I think Drake May, only in his second year, very similar to Bo Nix, I don't think he hasn't really gone against that kind of criticism that Baker has. So I feel like Baker has earned more trust because he's built for the moments where, there were lows and now they're highs. And a lot of it is because of him is why they're now very competitive in their division. And, in the NFL, they're right up there. And I think a lot of it is because you can trust Baker Mayfield to get you there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. No retort on that. Awesome. All right. So earlier this season, guys, we had content creator Brianna Sports who joined us, who is an Arizona content creator and reports on Arizona Cardinals, also the Phoenix Suns. We had her on and she had mentioned, or Austin had asked her about having Kyler Murray as the Cardinals coordinator. And she had some very poignant words to say about, 7 years in, got in the playoffs one time, didn't get over. And, the question is like, when does he become that guy for, when is his time over, or when are we going to realize he's not the guy in Arizona? And so I think that kind of brings up an interesting topic because earlier this week, Kyler Murray just got placed on IR. So he'll be out minimum 4 games for this NFL season. So in theory, that brings him back, if we're lucky, week 14. So Caleb, I want to know from you, do you think Kyler Murray's time in Arizona is over?
I do. And the reason I say that, his contract's till like 2028. I believe, I could be wrong on that, but I think it's 2028. I think they trade him while he still has value this offseason, at least for some sort of draft pick to somewhere, because there are so many quarterback needy teams. I think right now, I think the Cardinals can roll with Brissett, even sign him for another year, wait for another quarterback. One may come in free agency or one may come around in the draft for all we know. I think I would lean towards that route because even the Raiders, I could see them trading for him. I know they have no on contract, but or the Browns even. I could see either of those teams trading for him personally.
There's 2 quarterbacks I really don't want on the Raiders. One of them is Tua, and then the other one is Kyler Murray, respectfully. So
I want him on the Raiders. I think that's why I said that. I'm just kidding.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Austin, I'm curious what your thoughts are. What do you think Kyler Murray's time in Arizona is over?
I'm sorry to disappoint. It's going to be kind of a boring answer, but yes. Like, just whether they're done with him or he's done with them, like, I think they're just done with each other. He has an option of just saying, screw this and going to play baseball as well. He still has some, money there with, I think it was the A's who have the rights to him.
Yeah. Fun fact, they're getting ready to move to Vegas.
Play baseball for the A's and then football for the Raiders.
Well, I'm saying.
No, this is not a Deion Sanders situation.
But let's be honest. Like,
no, you have to be good to have that situation happen.
But let's be honest here. Like, we're asking this question now, but if we've paid any attention to the Cardinals for maybe the last year and a half, I think they've kind of just been done with each other for a while.
Yep.
And it's just it's run its course. There's the contract's the only reason I see he may stay there. They may not get what they want in a trade, and he may not want to give up on football yet. So, but at least the personality, the vibes, how they're done with each other. Whether they're able to move on from each other, who knows? But they are done with each other.
Cory?
Yeah, everything my brother just said, I agree. And Caleb was actually onto something because I was thinking the Raiders as well. Just based on, I know if he did decide to do the baseball route, Vegas is getting ready to have the A's. And so, it does kind of line up to where he could try both. Whether he does or not, I'm not sure. But It would save the Raiders. The quarterback class for this next draft, and we'll preview this way on down the road, but it's not shaping up to be very good. And the Raiders may not be patient. So who knows necessarily what they may try to do.
Matt?
Yeah, I think everyone has already kind of said, like, this is it. I like to call him Mr. Krabs because whenever he runs around with those little legs, all I hear is Mr. Krabs is walking there. So that's what I call him. But I mean, yeah, I think this is just going to be a mutual parting of ways. Mm-hmm. He hasn't looked like he's been interested in playing for Arizona in quite some time, like well before this. And Arizona at this point is just done with him. I think they have something good going with Jacoby Brissett, and he would be a good bridge QB until they can find someone better. But yeah, I could see him ending up with the Raiders because what else could go wrong for them? And 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 I mean, if he wants to take the Browns to the Super Bowl, sure, why not send him to Cleveland? But yeah, this is just I think the Kyler Murray days are just done, especially as him as a starter.
Bro, if he gets traded to Cleveland, he's 100% retiring or playing baseball.
Yep.
Yeah, he's gonna go play for the
Guardians.
He's not playing for no Browns.
No, if he's not interested in the Cardinals, he's tapped out on the Browns.
He would go play for the UFL before playing for the Browns.
Yes.
The London Silly Nannies.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of great. We're in a good mood this morning because we're all basically in a clean sweep here. I think I have an interesting note, though. So Cliff Kingsbury, when he was the head coach for the Arizona Cardinals, drafted Kyler Murray. Obviously not going so well in Washington, so other head coaching spots are opening up. I believe that Cliff Kingsbury is going to go to another head coaching spot. I would imagine whatever spot that is going to probably need a quarterback, and I can foresee maybe whatever that team is acquiring Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray's best seasons were under Cliff Kingsbury. Say what you want about his coaching and all that stuff, but statistics are statistics. He had back-to-back, almost 4,000 seasons with 20-plus touchdowns, 10 interceptions each, about average of 66% completion percentage compared to this year where he hasn't done that for a while. And I just feel like it'll give him a new fresh start. I'm not saying it's a great football move, but I can just see that happening for whatever that team might be. What happens if Miami hires Cliff Kingsbury and then they swap Tua and Kyler? Like, I can see in a world that happens, but it's not a great idea for both teams, but that's a possibility. I mean, both contracts are similar. It doesn't involve the Raiders, which thank God. But yeah, because I'm tired of the Raiders having every quarterback that sucks is now attached to the Raiders who's interested. Like Anthony Richardson. We don't need Anthony Richardson. No, thank you. He can't throw the football accurately. We don't need that. We'll take Bo Nix though, but yeah. But anyways, that's my thoughts on Kyler Murray. I think I do see like a Kingsbury and a Kyler Murray link up on a new team just because, again, his contract, Arizona's going to want to get out of that. And I think they worked well together. And at least statistically speaking, Kyler Murray's best seasons were under Kingsbury.
Doo-doo franchises always take doo-doo quarterbacks.
Raiders, Murray, line up. No, I think if Rodgers doesn't return, I can see them trying to go after Kyler Murray.
The Steelers?
Person.
I can see that.
Arthur Smith's offense is more of a mobile play action kind of offense anyway.
Mike Tomlin would destroy Kyler Murray.
He would. He'll be better than whatever alternative is out there after Rodgers.
He would break his spirit.
And who knows? Maybe the Jets say, you know what, Fields, you're done. We're going to bring in Murray. Who knows?
True.
Maybe. You know what? What do we feel about maybe the Saints acquiring Kyler?
Nah, they like Tyler Shuck.
There's some. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
it's a valid question.
You almost said that seriously.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really only two franchises that three. I'll throw my Raiders in there that really could use a quarterback like yesterday, and that's New York Jets, the Raiders, and Miami Dolphins. I think we can easily say that there's going to be some starting openings for each of those teams, and Kyler's going to wind up somewhere. And I agree, his time in Arizona is over. I don't know if it's going to be like buyout similar to Russell Wilson, or if he's just going to get straight up traded elsewhere. But his time in Arizona is over, and you can just see that the relationship between the two is just not a good one. So it just needs to happen regardless. Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on to our fantasy football segment, sponsored by JBW Solutions. For all fantasy football, for all safety compliances, go visit JBW Solutions LLC.com today. We're going to do our fantasy frenzy, where we're going to give you our sleeper and our bust of the week for week 10. Cory, who is your sleeper and who is your bust for this week?
Yeah, man. So sleeper, we're going Quentin Johnson. Yeah, man. I think the Steelers defense does have some weak spots, and I love Jalen Ramsey, but he's just not the Jalen Ramsey of old. There's still some downfalls in his game right now. So Quentin Johnson's sleeper, and then Daniel Jones is a bust.
Ooh,
That's all I'm going to say.
Quarterback.
That is my quarterback, and I'm willing to say that.
Nice. Austin?
It's a tough one for me. I don't know how involved he's going to be this first week, but my sleeper is going to be Rashid Shaheed.
Okay.
I don't know how much he's going to play, but I do believe he'll at least get a few opportunities. And he's on a good team now. You're still going to try to take out Smith Najigba. Like, that's still going to be your guy. I think they're going to be able to hit a few deep shots on the Cardinals. That offense is rolling. So Rashid Shaheed for sleeper. Again, not saying you have to go start him, but if you're desperate for a flex, Shaheed could be it. My bust is going to be Jalen Hurts. I'm basically doubling this up because I've been a believer in the Packers defense. That's really my only reason. Jalen Hurts usually gets some sort of fantasy points, whether it's rushing touchdowns or they go off passing. But I think Packers answered the call this week.
Nice. Very good. Caleb?
So my sleeper this week is Jameson Williams. He's playing against Washington's defense. He's expected to have 12 points, but I could definitely see him booming this week. He had a pretty good game against the Vikings last time, or whenever they played them. And my bust of the week kind of goes similar to Cory's, but I'm going to go with Tyler Warren. They're playing against the Falcons defense, who's number one against tight ends right now. He's expected to score 12 points, and statistically, last week he had his worst week so far in his rookie season. So I'm going to go with him. I don't think he bounces back quite yet, but I think soon. That one hurts me because he's on my fantasy team too.
All right, Matt.
All right. I think this one, just for me, it's kind of a no-brainer, and it's not really a sleeper. I think it's expected, but James Cook against Miami, I mean, he's probably going to have another 200-yard game. Like, let's be real. So I'm going to go James Cook is going to be he's going to be the boomer. But my bust is actually going to be Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. He just hasn't done a whole lot since week 5 against the Chargers. He's not really being utilized too much, and it's actually been Jeremy McNichols that's been utilizing those late downs for the Commanders lately. So for me, my bust is going to be Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt.
All right, very good. So my sleeper is going to be Jacoby Myers with Jacksonville. So Jacksonville could use some receiver help, obviously, with not having Travis Hunter. Brian Thomas Jr., who is dealing with kind of a lingering injury, and Brian Cohen is going to want to get someone that's in the slot and utilize that and kind of move the chain. So I can see Jacoby Myers being an effective player to start off. And again, my Raiders traded him to the Jaguars earlier last week. And so I can see him being a very big, component of that offense. So I'd say Jacoby Myers is my sleeper. Bust, Austin, cover your ears. I'm going to say J.J. McCarthy is going to be the bust this week. I feel like the defense of the Ravens is going to cause a little bit of trouble. We've talked about this in the preview show, which is this is kind of his rookie year. So it's a lot of learning to do. He was injured. He's kind of coming back, and he's still and I wouldn't say he's learning the ropes, but I mean, legitimately, this is rookie year. So I think this is maybe his 8th game of the season or of his career. So, he's going to be going up against a very good Ravens defense that is getting healthy. So I feel like JJ McCarthy's in for a long day today. So I'm going to say JJ McCarthy is the bust of the week for me.
Yeah, I do want to go out on a limb and say anybody on the Broncos or Raiders is a bust this week. Avoid those guys.
Except for Ashton Genty, he scored on Thursday. So if he had a touchdown that saved a fantasy roster.
True.
All right, guys. So that segment was sponsored by JBW Solutions LLC. Please go visit them down in the description below for all things safety compliance. If you are a long haul driver or you're a company that's looking to make sure that your guys are compliant with OSHA safety regulations, please go visit JBW Solutions. They are veteran owned, community focused, safety driven. So moving on to our final segment. It is safe or not safe. I'm going to give you guys 3 teams. You tell me if they are safe or not safe. We're going to kind of do a little bit more of a round table, a little quick one. So Matt, are the Packers safe or not safe for this week?
I'm going to go safe.
Safe.
I think they're going to be safe. Yeah.
Okay. Caleb?
Yeah, I'm going to go I'm actually going to go not safe. Just because they are playing the Eagles.
Okay.
That's the only reason why.
Got it. Corey?
Yeah, they're not safe.
Nice. Austin?
Incredibly safe.
Yeah.
And
Incredible.
it's always me and Austin with the Packers,
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to say they're not safe. Like I said on the preview show, they're on fraud watch for me. Caleb, safe or not safe, the Chargers?
I think we're safe, actually. I've thought long and hard about this one, but I think we're safe.
All right. Austin?
Not safe.
Ooh. Corey?
Yeah, not safe. Not this week. Sorry, buddy.
Matt?
I'm going the opposite direction. I think they're safe.
Yeah, I hate the fact that I'm pointing this way, but I'm going to say they're safe as well. All right, guys. Last team, safe or not safe, the Baltimore Ravens. Matt, safe or not safe?
I'm gonna go Ravens are safe.
Okay. Corey?
Yeah, I think the Ravens are safe.
Caleb?
I agree. I'm going to continue the trend. I think they're safe.
All right. Austin?
You already know they're not safe.
This is tough because I just said that JJ McCarthy is the bust of the week. I will say, though, that the Ravens are safe this week. I feel like getting healthy at the right time is going to make all the world of difference. So, all right. So we are going to close out the show with one last thing. So each co-host is going to give a bold statement for week 10. Corey, I'm going to let you lead it off. What is your bold take for week 10?
Yeah, I'm going to say that Baker Mayfield gets 300 yards and throws for 4 touchdowns.
Austin?
So bold, right?
Bold take.
All right.
Here we go.
Steelers are going to have double-digit sacks and shut out the Chargers.
Okay.
Caleb, what's your bold take, sir?
So I'm going to go the opposite, actually. I'm going to say that the Chargers hold the Steelers to under 17 points.
Okay. Under 17 points.
Yep.
Matt.
And I think I said it earlier. James Cook is just going to rush for over 200 yards against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I got one real quick. The Broncos win 10-7.
Hey.
Hey, it's almost like you were there.
And Bo Nix is going to throw 2 interceptions.
My bold prediction, Caleb, you might want to close your ears, is I think Justin Herbert gets injured in the game against the Steelers. I'm not trying to put it out there as a negative, but I get concerned with that offensive line.
He did the same thing with Geno Smith, and look what happened. Justin Herbert, don't play today.
No, we can't do injuries.
Okay, fine. I won't do an injury. I'll do this. I will say that the Colts will lose against the Falcons, and Danny Dimes will revert back to L.A. Daniel Jones. How about that? Does that make you feel better?
L.A. Anyway, yeah, no, I was going to say the Falcons were going to easily win, but I couldn't bring myself to it yet.
Okay, I will say that they will, and Danny Dimes will turn the ball over. It is in an international game, and I don't know. I think we're finally starting to see the real Danny Dimes show up to the party. So I'll take that over the Justin Herbert injury thing. I'm not trying to throw the injury thing out there in the ether and really get him injured. So
we're gonna hop off and see the culture up like 75-0.
Daniel Jones with like 7 touchdowns.
Oh no! Guess what fantasy team?
Oh shucks! Why would I start him this week?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to our Week 10 Sunday morning pregame show. Please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You guys can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and X where you're watching this currently. Also, I want to give some shout outs to a couple of partners of ours, Beard Club, Shank It Golf, Homage, hooking us up with a lot of swag, Badger Barrel, and a world full of butterflies. Be a Badger, Matt. Next time you can do it because I butchered that one like terribly. So, also, guys, we have new hats in the merch shop. So go visit our link down below to go get yourself a hat. And also, Austin's got one of the merch shirts on as well. And then now to the ones that actually pay the bills. Shout out to Emporia State Federal Credit Union, Angie and the team. We really appreciate you guys and your partnership from the start, literally day one. So we appreciate you guys. They are the War Room's banking of choice. Troy at Field OpKansas. Thank you guys so much for your partnership as well. If you guys are looking for field markings for any leagues or sports of any variety, please go contact them. They work in the greater Kansas area, and they'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Troy and the fam are really good friends of ours. And last but not least, the company that runs the show, essentially, JBW Solutions, as we are recording out of the JBW Solutions studios. Shout out to Jeff and the crew. They are great partners. Everyone's pretty much got their hats on, except for me. I'm trying to rep the merch shop. But please go and check out JBW Solutions LLC.com to get safety compliant today. Gentlemen, it's time to get started on watching some football this Sunday morning. We will see you guys for the recap show on Tuesday. So with that being said, we'll see you.